When carefree Nyles and reluctant maid of honor Siara have a chance encounter at a Palm Springs wedding, things get complicated when they find themselves unable to escape the venue, themselves, or each other. Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. Elliot here again for review number 2 of the day. The first one was for Netflix, The Old Guard, so check that out. But we're now talking about Palm Springs, a movie I've heard a lot of great things about in this last week or so. So I'm very excited to let you all know what I thought about the movie and if you should check it out. But before we dive into this spoiler-free review, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my new content. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, helps out the channel, but I also really appreciate it. And last but not least, if and when you've seen Palm Springs, let me know. Did you laugh? Did you cry? Did you have a good time with this film? Let me know your pros and cons in the comments below. So again, whether it be people that saw it earlier this year at Sundance or people that saw it for early screeners this week, a lot of people have been talking about this film, being that it's some people's favorite film of the year, one of the best comedies they've seen in a long time. And I'm going to start off with that. Take those bits that people have said and start with the positives. This was a really good film. I don't see a lot of Hulu original movies, and when they do, they're just like, hit or miss. But this year alone, man, I think of Big Time Adolescence with Pete Davidson and this film in particular. They're really good movies, starting off with just kind of rom-coms, right? I love that this is a science fiction rom-com. Number one is, if you've been a part of this community for a while, you know I love me some sci-fi. I love it to the core, but rom-coms are hit or miss. Talking about the competitor of Hulu, Netflix, they have a lot of rom-coms, and a lot of them do not work for me at all. The chemistry's off, the funniness isn't there, the comedy just falls flat. But this film, as I've gotten older, my taste in comedy, I still love some juvenile jokes, I still love me some raunchiness, but I have found myself really appreciating subtle comedy, and this film does such a great job of not relying on the gags, the absurdity, the inappropriateness of certain situations of being in this time loop, but they really just play on these great characters, and you're laughing at the situation that they're in, but you're also just having a great time with this great, really kind of a nuanced type of approach. Because again, when you think about this time loop idea, Groundhog's Day, I think of most recently with Happy Death Day, Russian Doll on Netflix a couple years ago. Everyone has played in the genre, horror, comedy, romance, all the different genres has tried to play in a time loop, but they all don't succeed at it. What I like about this film is they have that idea of the time loop, but then they implement their own type of, again, characteristics. We have these fun characters. Andy Samberg, his films are okay. I think he's serviceable in the films that he's in, but I love him in the TV, obviously SNL, and then, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But one of the things I like about Andy's performance in this film, kind of similar to Big Time Adolescence, which was on Hulu earlier this year with Pete Davidson, we know that they can be funny. They have those elements of just funny people naturally. But I like when a comedy gives you a comedian that gives you more of a subtle performance, that gives you more of a realistic, more grounded approach. Of course, we're going to get the absurdity with Andy Samberg being in this time loop, just living his life at his fullest, but in the core of this character, he's more than that, right? He has dreams. He wants to fall in love. He's not content with where he's at in his life. So I love the kind of the arc that we get with Andy's character, Nyles, in this film. And before I even go to his lead, who I thought stole this film, the supporting characters were fantastic too. That's another thing about comedies in general. I noticed that when you get a good comedy or a good rom-com, it's the supporting characters that actually make the film a lot better than some of the ones that don't work that well, right? So I think of J.K. Simmons. I think of the married couple in this film, the parents, everyone's boyfriend and girlfriend. Everyone just complimented this film so well, and it makes the experience so much better. But the person that stole this film for me, Cristin Milioti as Siara, who was fantastic in Fargo. I've seen her in a lot of other things. She was so great in this movie, and her chemistry with Andy Samberg was fantastic. But her as an individual, who I would contest to say she was actually maybe the lead in this film. I love where she starts off. Both of these characters are in a position in life where they're making bad decisions. They've made bad decisions. They're not appreciating what they've been given in their lives in regards to certain things that happen to him. But you see her character at the beginning of this film and her throughout this movie being just kind of, again, this isn't a spoiler, this is in the trailer, when she finds out where she's in this time loop with Andy Samberg, and she's just like, I want to get out of here. And then she kind of, takes advantage of the situation, but she realizes that she wants to do something different. She wants to make up for the wrong she's done in her life before she got in this time loop. And just seeing her from get to A to Z was just such a fantastic performance. Her comedy was great. Her dramatic moments were great. She's such an incredible actress. Again, her in Fargo season 2 as the wife was fantastic. And she's been in a couple other things too that's just not coming to mind right now. But I am so excited to see what she does next. This is one of those performances where you're just like, man, she is such a great actress. The Wolf of Wall Street, that's what she was. She didn't have a big role, but she was Leo's wife in that film. But I thought that she just stole this movie. She was just the heart and soul to me. I thought that all her moments with Andy Samberg were fantastic, but the stuff that she did by herself as a individual character as Sarah was incredible. So the performances were great. The story was really, really interesting. I didn't feel bored at all. Again, I thought that this was one of the best rom-coms I've seen in such a long time. Again, I love when genres play within subgenres. That was fantastic. The directing of this film was really well done, and again, the supporting characters really rounding out the cast. But if I were to get into the criticism of this movie, it has its tropes, of course, with any rom-com. It's kind of predictable at moments. Like I said, there is another romantic comedy film that I've seen a couple years ago that's not coming to mind that had a similar concept. So it's not breaking new ground, which I wasn't expecting that. I was just expecting to have a good time, enjoy the characters, have some good laughs. I got that plus some. So really my criticism with the film, outside of those flaws of the predictability factor of it, it's just kind of minor compared to the positives that this film gave me. So again, man, I don't watch a lot of Hulu content as far as movies go. I watch a lot of Hulu shows that I've reviewed on this channel, but the movies don't really hit for me. But so far this year, with Big Time Adolescence with Pete Davidson in this film, man, I'm keeping an eye out for the Hulu originals coming out. Hopefully we get more this year, because obviously it doesn't look like we're going to get any movies at the theater this year, unfortunately. But again, man, I was very impressed by this film. I can see why people spoke so highly about it. And I'm going to go pretty high with this film, guys. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Again, it's just one of those situations where you don't get a lot of rom-coms, but when you see a good one, you got to appreciate it. And again, Andy Samberg, Cristin Milioti, and everyone involved in this film, the director, the writers, the supporting cast, it's just a fun film. And I definitely recommend you all give this a watch over this weekend. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. So I'm going to give, again, like I said, 4.5 out of 5 for Palm Springs. Check it out, and when you do, let me know what you all thought about it. Again, did you laugh? Did you cry? Did you have a good time? What were some of your criticisms? Let me know what you all thought about the film. Let's have some discussions in the comments. As I said up top, I reviewed The Old Guard on Netflix, so check out that review. I do plan on watching Greyhound. I don't think I'm going to do my review for that today. I'm going to watch it and probably put out my review sometime this weekend, so keep an eye out for that. And then, of course, tomorrow, Saturday, or whenever you're watching this, if today is Saturday that you're watching it, later today, I have my watch along for Spider-Man Far From Home, so keep an eye out for that. Can't wait to talk to my amazing guest about that movie. That's been over a year since we've seen a Marvel film. So nevertheless, thank you all for watching this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you soon.